What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today I wanted to go over what I feel are the top 5 best guns in Black Ops 4 multiplayer, at least for public matches. Keep in mind, of course, this isn't going to apply to competitive play. I don't really get into that side of things too much. Plus, for a lot of these guns, they really do rely on certain attachments that aren't actually available in competitive play. But I did feel like it's important to share this list because things have been changing over time. We've had several weapon balancing changes over the past couple of months or so that have started to shift things around. And the most recent weapon balancing update, where the SMGs got a buff, really shook a few things up. So let's hop right into it, and at number 5, we have the Cordite. The Cordite has always been one of those SMGs. It was kind of middle of the road. It had a great magazine capacity, and that was pretty much the only thing that really stood out about the Cordite. It was kind of average in every other way. This gun, though, has been progressively getting just a little bit better with each weapon balancing patch, it seems. And since that last weapon balancing update where they noticeably increased its 5-shot kill range, this has finally put the Cordite in a position where I would say it's one of the best guns in the game currently. Especially when you add rapid fire to this gun, it kills very quickly in that 5-shot kill range, which they pretty much doubled with the most recent weapon balancing patch. This time to kill value is actually noticeably faster than many of the other guns in the game at 280 milliseconds. And with this, even if you extend past that 5-shot kill range and you get to the 6-shot kill range, which is relatively common if you're playing to the strengths of this gun, you still have a very respectable time to kill. Combine that with the fact that you have a really good magazine capacity, especially if you add extended mags on there. The only real downsides to the Cordite currently is, first off, the downside that all of the SMGs have, and that is if you try to challenge somebody at a really long range that's outside of the effective range, then the gun is practically useless because it's going to be a 9-shot kill. And also, it does have the slowest sprint out time in the SMG category, but that downside can be completely eliminated if you just run the Gung Ho perk. So in the game's current state, the Cordite is just a great all-around SMG. It's got a very solid time to kill, it's got very reasonable recoil as well, at least within the ranges that you should be challenging enemies. You should have no problem with recoil with that gun, even with rapid fire equipped. You've got an amazing magazine capacity, which allows you to challenge several enemies between each reload. And therefore, I definitely feel that the Cordite has finally earned its spot on this list. Moving on to number 4, this is the KN57. And for me personally, I really like the KN57. This is actually probably my favorite gun in the game currently, just because it's such a versatile gun. It's got the best time to kill in the assault rifle category at close range, assuming no attachments. But also, we have the ability to put rapid fire on there, which will just improve that time to kill even more. And in addition to that, it still holds its own at those longer ranges. It's got great recoil properties. It's very easy to control that recoil. The handling is great. It has the fastest aim down sight time without attachments in the assault rifle category. We've got excellent attachment choices with this as well. Those hybrid mags are great for a faster reload and also a larger magazine capacity. Plus, we can use grip to reduce that recoil a bit to make it a bit more effective at those longer ranges while still being quite dominant up close. And the stock attachment definitely helps this gun out a lot as well. So as a result, the KN57, in my opinion, even though it's not necessarily dominant in any particular range, I feel at the very least it's good at every range. It's a little bit better up close, but it still holds its own just fine at longer ranges. And this is one of the few guns where I can use this on every single map in the game and feel completely comfortable. With many of the guns, even some of the really good ones that are on this list, I'd be really comfortable using them on some maps, but not so comfortable on other maps. Whereas with the KN57, it's just so versatile, I can use it in pretty much any situation. This brings us to number 3 on the list, and this is the Rampart 17. More specifically, the Rampart 17 with both of the high caliber attachments equipped. If you don't have those high caliber attachments equipped, I wouldn't say that this gun is top 5 by any means, but if you do have them, you will have one of the best time to kill values out of any of the full auto guns in this game. This gun absolutely shreds at pretty much any range as long as you're hitting those high caliber zones. At close range, you'll dominate most of the SMGs in the time to kill department, and at longer ranges, you'll dominate just about every gun in the game as well when it comes to time to kill. Even though they have toned a few things down, like the aim down sight time for instance with the Rampart lately, it still has so much raw power that it's still on this list for me, and it has been since the beginning of this game. Yes, it's a little bit harder to handle, and you have to be a bit more prepared for your enemy because you aim down sight a bit slower, but once you get on target, you will just drop anything in your path. Now before we get into number 2, Control Freak has partnered with me for this video in order to share their new performance grip strips. These grip strips can be used on a wide variety of gaming peripherals or even like tools in everyday life. You just stick them on there. It's a padded cushion grip that wicks sweat away. It is antimicrobial as well. And I've actually been using these on my mouse for the past week or so, and they feel great. I have noticed sometimes my fingers get a little bit sweaty if I'm working for a really long time and it gets a bit hot in here. But with these grip strips, it just wicks that sweat away and it is much more comfortable to use. If you guys are interested in checking these or any other Control Freak products out, they've actually boosted my discount code for a limited time until the end of this coming weekend. You will get 15% off anything in the Control Freak store, whether that be these new grip strips, or if you're in the market for some new Control Freaks, right now is a great time to buy because you get that extra 5% off. I will leave a link in the description below that will automatically apply that code and give you that 15% off. So hopping back into it, this brings us to number 2 on my list, and this is the Auger, once again with those high caliber attachments equipped. Just like with the Rampart, these are the attachments that really make this gun dominant. It's pretty good without them, but as long as you have a decent trigger finger and decent aim, you're practically unstoppable with these high caliber attachments. So with this gun, with those high caliber attachments, you get an insanely fast time to kill value of 166 milliseconds, which is pretty much twice as fast as the average time to kill in this game. Like I said, if you're on point, you're practically untouchable with this gun in your hands. The only real limitations that you have with this though is it is a semi-automatic, so therefore if you're not very good with those and you struggle aiming a semi-auto or you have a really bad trigger finger, that might hold you back a little bit. And also the magazine capacity isn't ridiculous by any means, but aside from that, this is absolutely one of the best guns in this game. It has pretty much no recoil, so you can dominate people at longer ranges, even when they're on a head glitch and you can only see the tip of their head. And also up close, as long as you're hitting those high caliber zones, you'll dominate even some of the fastest killing SMGs. So this is why the Auger definitely deserves that second spot on this list. Before we get into that number 1 spot though, I did want to give an honorable mention to the Switchblade X9. This SMG got a very noticeable boost with that most recent weapon balancing update. And I would say after that update, it is now the best close range SMG, especially when you start adding rapid fire attachments on there. There's pretty much nothing that can catch up aside from the number 1 gun when we're talking really close range situations. Unfortunately though, this gun just lacks versatility. Beyond those really close range situations, the recoil is pretty tough to manage, especially when you have the rapid fire attachments on that. And therefore, I didn't feel it deserved a top 5 spot, but definitely at least an honorable mention here. So finally, this brings us to number 1, and I truly feel this is currently the best gun in Black Ops 4 multiplayer. This is the Daemon. The Daemon is an SMG that when it first dropped, it was pretty good. I wouldn't have put it top tier, but it was a very solid SMG. It did kill pretty quickly, especially if you're using the high caliber attachments and rapid fire. But it didn't really stand out all that much. It was quite good, but it wasn't great. Since then though, it just keeps getting better and better. They keep buffing it a little bit at a time, and once again with that last SMG patch that we got, the Daemon just shot up there, and I really feel it's the best gun in the game now. When you're combining the rapid fire attachment with the high caliber attachments, we have the most ridiculously fast time to kill at 150 milliseconds. The only guns with a faster time to kill at close range are one-shot kill weapons. Nothing else properly competes with this gun. Even if you eliminate rapid fire and you just stick to those high caliber attachments, you still have a very, very good time to kill value of 200 milliseconds, which is still going to dominate most things. Combine that with the fact that your rate of fire is very high, so even if you're missing a few shots here and there, it's very forgiving. Plus, it's quite accurate at range as an SMG. This gun, in its current state, is absolutely dominant and pretty much can't be touched as long as you play to its strengths. Keep yourself in close to mid-range engagements, and you should have no problems whatsoever using this. If you guys have this gun and haven't really played around with it much lately, make sure you give it a try. I think you're going to be very pleasantly surprised. And with that, we're going to wrap up today's video on the top 5 best guns to use in Black Ops 4 multiplayer, at least in the game's current state. Of course, I'd like to know in the comment section below, what do you think are the best guns in the game currently? Do you agree with my list? Are there any guns that you disagree with? Are there any that you would replace them with and you would like to see on this list? Just let me know those thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.